Dude, the hell are you doing, man?
Wait, no, man, stop. Breakdowns.
What about... Chug it. Come on, man. Where's the music?
I can.
Okay. Welcome to another edition of the YDM Music. I'm Chris. He's Al. What we're going to be talking about today. Breakdowns. The rights and the wrongs, the yeses and the nos, the screw you and Emmures.
Basically. Okay, so one thing that's been with the whole new punk metalcore genre has been breakdowns. They're in all songs, not gonna lie, they're fun, they're good if you do them right. But a lot of bands aren't. For example, as we said, Emmure. There's only so many ways you can palm mute an open chord. Yet they managed to do the same one, again, and again,
and again,
and again,
and again,
and again,
and again. We're talking like how many albums? 5?
I don't even know.
5 freaking albums. And they just now released a new one where they started doing a little bit of melody, but it's still like 80% breakdowns.
It's 80%.
Chug it. I wonder how long it's going to take before they join into the Axe Effects gent trend, just so they could do more different sounding breakdowns.
I don't know if they did. They might already have.
Point being, there are too many bands these days using breakdowns as the beef of their song, instead of actually thinking of heavier, lower actual riffs.
Don't get me wrong, breakdowns are good for the right times. Like, most punk bands, they don't usually do guitar solos. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Most of them just have, like, random legato riffs going on. And putting a breakdown in it is not a bad thing, but the problem is they're overusing them.
They're desensitizing the breakdown.
Yeah.
It's meant to be just a complete shift change and a release. And if you're doing it for 90% of the song,
it's not that.
You're losing the meaning.
Yeah.
I mean, look at bands like Parkway Drive. They do a little bit of chugging, but they still understand the point of the breakdown. And they
will have still have, like, the chugs parts in it, but then they'll still have an actual melody behind it going, instead of just going the entire time.
Their breakdown still has the oomph to it, whereas Emmure, it's just like you start out, okay, and it's just like, alright.
It's like, yo, dog, heard you like breakdowns, so we put a breakdown in the breakdown, so you can break down while you break down, basically.
Chugception.
A chug within a chug. They're chugging beer while chugging their guitar.
You know, that
How
makes
does that
sense.
make you feel? Basically.
So, I want to send a message out to any of you up-and-coming bands, any bands that are, want to get into the metalcore scene. The best way to separate yourself and to get yourself up there, don't follow this trend. A lot of bands are following this trend. Capture the Crown. Freaking Crown, and almost all Rise Records bands that follow the metalcore area.
Rise, some Sumerian.
Pretty much. Use too much chug breakdowns and expect them to get somewhere because of it.
So I think they're not. They're getting Warped Tour, they're getting some famous on YouTube, they're going to be doing like some tours like that, but for the most part they really aren't. They're just, I don't want to say that none of them are really aiming to get mainstream success mostly. Some are, some aren't.
But even then, it's holding them back.
It is. Like, if they were to do something to set them apart, it's killing me to say this right now. Avenged Sevenfold. They used to be a band like how we were talking about.
Right.
They used to be all breakdowny, chorey, whatnot stuff. Then they decided, hey, let's try putting some melodies in our stuff. Then look how they became. They haven't became like, oh no, they have some became mainstream.
They've become huge. Sinister Gates is known as one of the best guitarists of this time.
Oh, definitely. But the thing is, they learned, okay, that stuff is good, there's a time and place for that, but, because they still do release songs that have breakdowns, still do release heavy songs. But they focus on putting more melodies in.
Just because you want to be heavy doesn't mean you can ignore the melody.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Look at some new metal bands, look at some classic metal bands. They still sounded heavy without having that breakdown.
Good example, Metallica.
Yeah, Metallica, I can't really think of, like, there definitely is songs where they have a breakdown like how a normal core breakdown would be, but for the most part of the songs, the entire song is just constantly heavy or that thrashy sound the entire time. People are just you're gonna get the same reaction at a concert as you do with a breakdown.
Right.
Like, concert-wise, you're at a breakdown, what's going to happen? Giant mosh pit. Wall of death, maybe. Thrash metal, that's the entire concert. I've been at a show where there was some, like, more thrashier bands, and yeah, it's the entire concert, I was in the lawn seats, the entire lawn was a giant mosh pit for Slayer. Ah, that was fun.
So there's technically another lesson you can learn from this. If you need a breakdown in order to get them up and moving at your concerts, maybe you're doing something wrong with your other stuff.
Don't get me wrong, breakdowns, like, use breakdowns,
use them sparingly, use,
don't abuse.
Use them to their potential instead of spamming them.
Yeah.
To put it in, I guess, terms.
Don't be like Melee, Falcon Knee spamming breakdowns.
Like Call of Duty, FAMAS, because I can't do stuff. Stuff like that. Don't overuse the breakdown.
Don't. Just don't.
I'm Chris, that's Al. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YDM Music.
Quit
Also,
chugging.
bands. If you are in a band and you follow us on Twitter or like us on Facebook, shoot us a message. If we like your guys' stuff, we may feature you in a new episode. So, upcoming bands, say if you're not even from this area, the area we're in, you want to get fans in this area, or just get more known stateside or whatever, follow us. We have some bands that follow us. We've been in contact with them. We're trying to get them on. So if you do, please do.
Speaking of which, shout-outs to my boys in Ascension. Thank you for sending us that like. I listened to your stuff. Really interesting. It's bringing power metal back almost.
Oh, yeah.
Like, really good stuff. Give them a listen.
I definitely agree. But anyways, thank you for watching. New videos will be up soon.